Hello, gorgeous. My name is Gia. Here is why you shouldn't date a guy who plays video games. I know you're like, why is this a video? Why? Because there are guys who play video games and that's like their life. I remember there was, I remember like years ago, I was 18 and that's 9 years ago now. So do the arithmetic. But I was 18 and I was talking to this guy and he was like chatting, we were chatting, he was getting to know me, and then he said, and then I was asking about his interests, and then he exploded talking about video games. Talking about video games. Like every other word was video games. He got really enthusiastic all of a sudden, like his eyes perked up and his posture was like, oh, video games? Did someone say video games? So, and he was going on about it. He's like, it's my catharsis, it's my therapy, it's this and that. And I was like, I was so turned off. I was immediately like shut him out from my mind. Because growing up, I didn't have video games. We did have, whatchamacallit, Game Boys growing up. And then our parents took them away. We got them as a Christmas gift with like a couple games. And my brother kept getting games. Like his mom would buy him games or his dad would buy him games. He had separate parents, my elder brother. And he loved his friends who had video games, and he would have friends who had video games who played with him, and like he used people to play video games. And I thought that was really weird, like that you're using people, they're not your real friends, you're just there for their stuff, which I thought was really weird. And like till this day, my elder brother is weird and has like no personality when it comes to, anyway, that's a whole other thing. But if a guy has to play video games, remember that it is scientifically concentrated stimulation. So if you know how junk food works, there are scientists who literally go in and describe the texture they find the textures of the foods that we like and genetically engineer food, or not just genetically, but like generate, manufacture types of like crunchy foods. Like, I'm not explaining myself well. I'm very, very incoherent here. I'm not like a master. I'm trying to find the simplest way to say it. So there are foods that are, if you notice a lot of the processed foods that are packaged, that are like nacho cheese or crunchy chips, crisps, especially hamburgers. They're meant to have a certain texture, a certain taste, a certain combination of flavors, a certain combination of textures, like that are crunchy yet soft on the inside. And that's like a lot of chocolate commercials, like for snacks, for candy, they always describe it has a melty flavor caramel in the middle and the soft crunchy outside. That's like scientifically studied to be attractive when it comes to eating. So that's the same thing that they do with video games. Some video games are meant to be proper training for like the Marines and for people in the military. I know because my husband was in the military, and they teach you how to do things with drones, and there's like live simulations, and it's really scary. And sometimes when there is a new battle, they need to get people who are like fresh mindsets that haven't been in battle before, and they'll warm them up with video games. And it's still like it like gives you anxiety, it hypes up your heart rate. And it's crazy how like I cannot play video games as a normal functioning human being. Growing up, when I did have those video games, I was actually really good at them, like Tetris, because I'm really good at having fast reflexes and thinking on my toes. And I thought, you know what, I'm actually good at this, so why don't I try it and apply it to sports? And I played volleyball. I'm 5'2.5", and I would play like with girls who are like 6 feet tall, and like I would play with like people who were 6 feet tall, and there'd be like, they would legit say how good I was, and I can spike, I can dive, I can serve. Like I could do like 15 serves and get all the points, like up till 21 points. Like I could do all the serves all day long and like kill it. So anyway, when it comes to applying actual skills, video games doesn't do any of that. It's just hyper stimulation, concentrated stimulation, which is really weird. And it's also a waste of time. I think that's like the ultimate problem with video games, is that you're accomplishing nothing. I get it if you're watching a movie and you're getting cultured and the movie has like a different language, or you're learning something that you didn't know in the movie, that like, oh, I didn't know that computers were invented this way according to the history of, like, it's like a docudrama. It's like loosely based on something. Or, oh, did you know that in this time they had gastrointestinal disease because King Ethel, what's his face? That's what he actually died of. King Alfred, that's what he actually died of, and stuff like that, because it's appropriate for the time if you look at biology and history. And that's really fascinating when it comes to like movies and documentaries. But video games literally teaches you what? How to waste time. So when a guy like says to me like they play video games or they're a gamer, I don't get like why that's cool. I was in a commercial actually. Did I say actually like several times in a row? Anyway, I was in a commercial with this guy who was like 24 years old and a millionaire from being a gamer. And that's like one thing. But it's like, how often does that happen? That like someone is in the Olympics doing the gold medal version of video games, becoming a bajillionaire or multimillionaire from it. I was in a commercial with this guy. Like, we were supposed to be in bed. It's funny. It's a funny commercial. I have to like find it. It's on Reddit. And my friend directed it, and he's like, Gia, I need you to be one of like the girls in his bed. And I don't have any lines, but it's funny. But I forgot his name, but he was nice. But he was like apparently a big deal in the gamer world. No idea who he was. Still not interested today. I don't care if you're a multi-millionaire. If you play video games, that's cool. You're good at it. But like, if you just do it as a hobby, that's a whole other level of, oh my goodness. If you like mix drinks as a hobby, I will hang around you. I don't even drink. Every now and again, I'll go out with my girlfriends, but like, I'm not a drinker. And when just like a guy who has a hobby where he like gets nowhere in life, it's one thing to like build ships in a bottle and you harness like the craft of being gentle to the touch, or being a sculptor, or painting, or I don't know, reading, getting your hockey stick and practicing fancy ways to hit the puck and have style points. Just anything but video games is literally productive. Even sleeping is more productive than video games. And it's also been a known fact. I think like in the 60s or something, that you burn more calories sleeping than you do watching TV. I guess with video games, there's like a little thumb action going on there. Or like if you're on a keyboard, you're like pressing Z and X. Or I don't know. I don't care to know. But I don't understand. Like, if there's like an educational video game, that's one thing, like for little kids. But even then, it's slow, and it's like the interaction is not the best. That's definitely not mastered. Like, Alexa and Siri have not even been mastered. So it's like, why would something that people don't use for the masses, meant for being productive, would be good? Why would that be any better? I guess like VR, like the future is definitely, there's going to be like some pros and cons that come with the new VR world that's coming out. So I think it's a huge turnoff when guys like video games. Like, grown-ass women, sorry, I don't mean to curse, but grown women do not respect guys who like video games unless they don't respect themselves. I hate saying this because it's mostly true, I want to say. Well, at least for me and my friends. What do we know? Just putting that out there. Don't play video games because you will repel everyone. You might as well like carry around onions on your eyes, on your face, and walk around that way, because nobody's gonna want to be around you. Nobody's gonna want to like get close to you. Not intimately, not romantically. If I want like a guy who's tough and does like the things that they do in video games, like even if you play Lara Croft, not Laura, it's Lara. I know it's Lara. So even if you play like Lara Croft, why don't you go out and do like the parkour stuff that she does? Or go out and handle weapons like she does? If you do all the masculine things and like you just die, and then if you make a mistake, but then there are no consequences when you die. You just like respawn or whatever, and then you start to level all over again. So I don't understand why that's sexy, or why It's not. It's like a boys thing. That's the whole point, I guess. So here's me ranting about video games, and ladies, don't waste your time on guys who play video games. I never understood why that was attractive in the first place. And all the guys I know who play video games, like Matan said, I'll link his channel below, he made a really good point that guys who are addicted to video games end up, when they grow up, replacing that with something else, like alcohol and drugs. And not in a sexy way, not in like a sexy Johnny Depp way. And I'm not saying that like Johnny Depp, the real person, I'm saying Johnny Depp, the movie star, in one of the movies, he like glamorizes that life because he's portraying a character. That's not sexy in real life. Like, that is not attractive. Look at the real Johnny Depp's issues. He has a lot going on because of alcohol. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. It's none of my business, but just a really big like example that's been put on blast. Anyway, long story short, video games, guys, if you're a guy and you play video games, I said video games probably like 100 times in this video. If you're a guy and you play video games, find something new that you love. Find something doesn't even have to be productive. It can be sitting down and reading nonfiction. Reading nonfiction actually is productive because in neuroscience, it has been studied that reading nonfiction expands your ability to use your imagination. And that's all that mindset is. That's a lot of what business is. It's being able to see further into the future with using your imagination, like seeing the reward versus the risk. A lot of successful people use their imagination. If you don't use your imagination, you're probably a boring person. So anyway, why use someone else's imagination in a video game when you can create your own? Use creativity. So yeah, check out Matan's channel below. Brilliant for like all you guys to understand like why video games are not sexy. Dang, all of you like 19, 20-year-olds get it. So I hope that generation of YouTubers really like nails it on the head for like my girls who are trying to find an upstanding, high caliber gentleman who doesn't like prioritize video games over social connection. I don't know. I just do not respect guys who play video games. Okay, over and out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Oh yeah, subscribe. And for glow up tips, check out my link below.